Hello and welcome back to another video. Anime Dion here. Yes, I know it's been a long time since you heard that. Probably I haven't made a video in almost a month, or maybe even a month. It's been at least 3 weeks, maybe even more, and I really apologize for the fact that I've missed as much. I did get sick, and that's why I did not upload those videos that I said I would upload. But ultimately I had taken a break. I apologize for taking that break, and I'd like to give back and come back with this new video idea I have. Of course, I will still be doing what ifs. It's just I have this new video series I would like to do on my own occurring, and I really hope you guys enjoy. It's going to be based on this character called Juntaro in Naruto. It's not going to be, it's a Naruto video, but it is not a what if. It's as if we follow a story of a boy named Uchiha named Juntaro, who had evidently survived the Uchiha massacre. But before I get into that, I would like to explain more about it. We're going to be going through his life and not Naruto's or Sasuke's. They will be included in the story, of course, because they are main parts of the story, of course, Naruto and Sasuke. Many people just for that. Coming back, it's not really, I need to get back used to doing this, so yeah. But yeah, we're going to be following this boy named Juntaro, who's an Uchiha. Yes, he's an Uchiha. But there's some twist to it. Now, I'm back, and let's get to it. So, Juntaro was a young boy, barely born. A baby boy was born in the Uchiha clan. He had black hair, black eyes, just like any other Uchiha. But when he was born, many people felt that. Many Uchihas around the place felt the fact that he was born. It's like a special kind of, how can I explain? A special light shined around Juntaro. Not a visible one, but one through people's emotions. They can feel the fact that this boy is special. Guaranteed a special man. We skip to about 6 years. Juntaro is 6 years old. He doesn't really have much. He has 1 or 2 people that he knows in the Uchiha group. Of course, the entire Uchiha clan knows Juntaro, even at 6 years old. Juntaro is, in fact, a prodigy. Maybe a prodigy as promising as Itachi Uchiha. Man, if only Juntaro was a born heir of the Uchiha leaders, he could maybe be something. But even at 6 years old, Juntaro was a different kind of beast. He could shoot. He can throw a kunai as if it was as fast as a bullet. He can throw a kunai as skilled as a jonin. He's a very skilled kid. And no, he's not overpowered just to overclaim. He's really good at basic Uchiha skills, knife throwing, and yes, he can already do a fireball jutsu. He actually mastered it on his first try, somewhat like Itachi Uchiha. So, we fast forward another 2 years. Those friends of Juntaro's, well, not really friends, but they did grow apart. Juntaro doesn't really have much friends, but he's not mad about that. He's actually perfectly fine. He has his family, and he is pretty happy. So, yeah. And yes, let's go on. Juntaro is actually a year younger than both Naruto and Sasuke, so yeah. Uchiha Massacre is about to happen. So, Juntaro's 8 years old, and Sasuke is 7. Juntaro knows Sasuke because he is the brother of Itachi Uchiha, who lots of people compare him to. Itachi has seen Juntaro work and says Juntaro is in fact a prodigy and is very skilled himself, maybe even better than Itachi was at his age. But Juntaro does not let things go to his head. He is in the academy at that, and is actually #1 student. He's known by many people up there, but chooses not to talk to anybody. He usually uses his time to train all day long. after that, he's either eating with his family or going to sleep or at school, of course. The only opponent that was maybe able to fight Juntaro was probably Sasuke, but Sasuke was older than him, and Juntaro still could beat Sasuke. It would be a hard battle, but he can do so. One night, Juntaro decided to go into the woods for training. He did not choose to go home. And on this night, Itachi Uchiha struck. Itachi, not knowing Juntaro was not there, thinking he was maybe in the house eating, goes through with Obito, or the masked man, to kill everybody, every single Uchiha. Itachi kills his parents and leaves his brother alone. Sasuke, thinking he is the only Uchiha, including the entire leaf, thinking Sasuke is the only Uchiha left, causing Juntaro to come home to dead bodies in his house at the dinner table. He sobs, he cries, and he goes on his knees. He said, "My family's dead. The only people I had, the only people that cared for me, they're dead." He hears some steps coming towards him, and he hides. He just chakra to climb onto the roof, and hiding his chakra so nobody could sense him. Somebody walks in. Danzo. He walks in with 2 Jonins, 2 black ops around him, and Juntaro gets scared. He notices this, and he tries his best to hide his chakra, cause he's sure that some black ops can sense that. He looks down. Juntaro's only, keep in mind, Juntaro's only 8 years old. Not 8. Yeah, he's like 6 or 7. Yeah, I'm just gonna say he's 7. No, he's 6 at the moment. My fault. He's only 6 years old, hiding upon the roof in the corner, watching as they walk in. Danzo says, "Make sure there's no Uchihas in here. We only could have one alive." Juntaro doesn't think much about this, as he is still thinking about the fact that he can see his family's dead bodies on the floor. And then the next day, we fast forward a day. Juntaro was not fine, as he is very skilled at hiding himself, you can say. It has been announced that only Sasuke Uchiha is the only survivor of the Uchiha clan, and that Itachi Uchiha is the one who murdered them all. And Juntaro hears this, knows that he must go into hiding. You guys may be thinking, what kind of 6-year-old goes into hiding? He's only 6. No, but Juntaro is a very smart and not like any other person. He knows that he must go into hiding, and he can tell by the comment of Danzo that he shouldn't be alive. He has some suspects about Danzo, but not too much. He knows that it's Itachi, and he swears that he will one day get his revenge. But he will need to take a different path. Juntaro wanders around the Leaf Village, trying to hide himself. And he's actually pretty good at it. He makes it to the forest, where he starts to build his own hut. It's still upon the Leaf Village, but it is his own. It's not really near his home of the Uchiha village, but it's not too close to the village as well. He makes this hut pretty quickly at that, using his very good blade skills. He builds the hut, and he gets inside, and he begins to think, wait, if I go back to school, I will be known as, I'll be caught. I know my identity can't be revealed. I'm pretty much dead. To all the villagers, I'm dead. He sighs. He goes out into the Leaf Village, conceiving his identity, hiding. He's hiding, pretty much, and goes into a store. He has no choice but to steal. He steals some hair dye, and he gets back to his hut, and he dyes his hair. What color does he dye his hair? He dyes his hair blonde. Not Naruto blonde, but probably I would say blonde. I meant to say white. There we go. because light blonde is pretty weird. He dyes his hair blonde and white and cuts it short. Besides, Juntaro's hair was long because it is an Uchiha trait to, if you lose a battle, you cut your hair, but he still hasn't lost the battle in his entire life. So his hair was pretty long. Having to cut it short angered him, and he blames it all on Itachi Uchiha. Juntaro walks gets out of his hut and gets ready for the first day of his new life. His name isn't Juntaro no more, but it is Jun. His real name is Juntaro, but he goes for a short name and replaces his name and calls himself Jun. He walks into class and he goes up to Iruka Sensei. You guys may be thinking, wait, he shouldn't be in that class. He's a year younger. Well, he took it upon himself to be in a class with Sasuke Uchiha and watch over him to see if he knows anything about Itachi. But, of course though, the Uchiha Massacre did recently happen and Sasuke wasn't there that day. But Juntaro's happy with his choice for choosing that class because they are learning a bit higher degree of martial arts and ninja and jutsus and such. He goes in and Ikaruka Sensei introduces him as Jun. Jun, would you like to show us anything cool that you may know? Jun says, yeah, I think so. He goes up into the front and he weaves a few signs. He presses the floor, says earth style, rumbling, and the whole entire class rumbles, boom, like an earthquake. Just the class. And some not like big chunks of cement, but like some particles from the roof fall. You know what I'm saying? Some dust. A lot of that is roof. And Iruka Sensei is wowed. He said, "Wow, Jun, that's amazing. I don't think there's any kid in the class with jutsus that compelling. Maybe Sasuke, but the only jutsus he can do are fire." Jun says, "Well, I practiced a lot before I came in." Iruka says, "Again, how old are you?" "Oh, I'm 7 years old." Truly though, Jun is actually 6. But he is the compelling size of an 7 years old. He's actually pretty built. He's not noticeably built, but like he's cut. That's what I can say. He's cut. And he has he's skilled in fighting and multiple jutsus. He can actually copy a jutsu with just one look. And you guys may be thinking, so is that Sharingan? No, it's not Sharingan. But now, let's get back into it. Iruka Sensei says, well, today we're going to be practicing shuriken throwing and kunai. Some of the kids groaned. They said, what? But it's so boring. Iruka says, kunai and shuriken throwing is one of the most important parts of being a ninja. You need to be as skilled as an Uchiha at it. The Uchiha, rest in peace, says Iruka, were the most skilled with the art of throwing weapons. So they get to the field, and just so you know, Juntaro's his hair isn't super short. No, it's short. It's like, how can I say? Naruto in the last, it's that short. It's like that kind of short. So yeah, he has like white hair. Oh, and yes, he keeps the same eyes. His eyes are still black. It's not really rare to have black eyes in the Narutoverse, and not being a Uchiha. So yeah. So they get ready to go onto the field and throw kunai, and Iruka says, "Hey, Jun, how about you go first? You're the new student after all, Jun. So I think you should go first." Jun said, "Okay, no problem." He gets up and he stares into the distance. The board's not even that far away, he says. Well, he thinks to himself, this isn't going to be hard at all. He throws a kunai up in the air and he waits for it to drop. Throwing another kunai straight at it, hitting it, ricocheting it off one another, hitting it straight onto into the middle. He then throws a shuriken right straight into the middle as well. He looks at Iruka, and Iruka says, "Wow, that was incredible." Jun, it's as if it's as if you trained so well your entire life, and it's as if you're already a ninja. Jun, that was very great. Good job. Now you can go back in line. And for you guys thinking, wait, did Jun unlock his Sharingan during the massacre? No, he did not. So he goes to the back of the line, and he thinks to himself, he says, that was great. Man, I feel like maybe I can do a lot better, and I could practice harder, because in order to beat Itachi, I must be doing my best. He then thinks to himself about his family and the blood all over his family, the cuts on his family. He stares down, his eyes widen, and then they close. Jun's breathing hard, and then snaps out of it. Hey! As he's hearing a voice. The voice of a small girl. He says, hi, and you are? I'm Sakura. He says, oh, hi, I'm Jun. She says, I know, silly. You were just introduced today in class. He says, oh, what do you... And then Jun says, what? Oh, what do you want? Sakura... Well, he didn't say it meanly. He was like, hey, what's up? She says, well, as if you are the new student, and you seem pretty good at martial arts. So I wanted to I wanted to greet you. Hope you have a great time at this. Oh, and let me tell you about some people in the class. And them, there's a lot of nice people in this class, like Hinata, and so many more. But you should stay away from Naruto. He's a weirdo. Jun thinks to himself, Naruto, he's not much of a weirdo. He is different though, and not that very good, not that very skilled. Jun smiles and says, oh, well, I'll take that into mind. Sakura says, well, okay, bye, and walks over to her line. Jun says, dang, I kind of am feeling for Naruto right now. Imagine being told and being hated by your own fellow students. Just like that, says Jun to himself, thinking what Jun thinks, And yeah, the day goes on, and he finishes he finishes the day of school and instantly rushes straight to the forest. He goes by his hut, grabbing his ninja tools and getting ready to train. Jun thinks to himself, he says, this isn't enough. When will I awaken my Sharingan? I'm already 6 years old. Itachi awakened his at 7. I must get mine before he did. And I'll be better. He trains all day, punching trees, swiping them day and night for a whole entire month. We fast forward a month. Jun goes to class, and everybody greets him as he is the #1 student already. Sasuke is finally back going to class. Sasuke looks at Jun as if he recognizes him. Sasuke walks up to him and he says, hey, you the new student? Jun said, well, not really new anymore. I've already been here for a month. Jun's like, shoot, Sasuke. He might recognize me. He then looks at you and says, do I know you? You kind of remind me of someone. Sasuke says, no, I don't think so. Sasuke says, you look like Juntaro. Are you Juntaro? He says, Juntaro? Oh, I've heard about him. I'm sorry for your loss. Sasuke says, hey, don't worry about it, but I'm dead serious. Who are you? Oh, I'm Jun. I'm not Juntaro, though. Sasuke says, what clan are you from? Jun says, oh, no, I'm not really from any clan. I'm just a kid who wants to be a ninja, says Jun. Sasuke says, are you good, though? Jun says, well, now I'm #1 in the class. I guess so. They go through that day, And straight after that, Jun goes back into training. His entire body is sore from his feet all the way to the top of his head. His fingertips to his toes. Jun can feel all the pain in his body. But Jun just chooses not to rest. He chooses and he thinks about his family's dead bodies until his Sharingan awakens. Both want to move Sharingan. Jun says, so this is the Sharingan. He smiles, he says, I knew I'd get it eventually. And he says, might as well train with this on. Jun then remembers when he used to read books from the Uchiha clan library about the Sharingan. It drains a lot of chakra and most Uchihas don't have much of it. Jun thinks to himself, he says, well, I do not have that much chakra. And man, I can already feel my chakra receding with the Sharingan on. Then says to himself, if I train with my Sharingan on every single second I train, I'd get even more tired, but my work ethic will get better. The more I get used to it, the stronger my Sharingan will get, and the more lasting, and maybe even the more chakra I get. He says, man, this whole Sharingan thing is a hack. He then begins to throw kunai. This is his first time with the Sharingan. He throws the kunai up in the air, and he notices it moves in a bit of slow motion. It's as if he knows exactly where he's gonna go. He jumps up and flips out as his head is falling to the ground. He throws the kunai straight to the water, hitting straight through an entire tree, landing on his feet and his one hand. Kind of like Spider-Man, you could say. He gets up and he senses something. Deactivates his Sharingan. He looks over to see Naruto. Jun says, oh, hey Naruto. What's up? Naruto says, oh, nothing. I don't really have a family, so sometimes I wander around the woods. Or anywhere, really. Jun says, I never really seen you down here. Naruto's, yeah, I never really came around here before. So this is where you stay, Jun. Where's your parents? Jun says, my parents, they're outside of the village at the moment. I have a house. I just chose to make me this hut. And just keep in mind, his hut's not big whatsoever. It's kind of like a tent, like a big tent, you could say, like a big old tent. It's like a pretty big tent, but it's not big at all. It's like okay, you could say, you know how a room is, like not even a master room. It's just like one room, and like only barely enough for like a tiny bed. So yeah. And besides, Jun doesn't even sleep on the bed. He sleeps on the sleeping bags. He said it's pretty good for discipline. Naruto says, well, what are you doing right now? It doesn't seem like you've been in there in a while. Jun says, oh, I'm just getting some training in. His Sharingan's deactivated. Naruto says, well, hey, want to train together? Jun says, hey, sure. I have no problem with that, as long as you can keep up. He smiles. Jun thinks to himself, he's like, damn, some of this training's gonna go down. Fighting with Naruto is a bit too easy. He can't really do much against me. Jun then says, here's 2 kunai and 2 shuriken. I have 2 of each myself. Let's have a battle. If I win, you go back to doing what you were doing, and I can go back to my singular training. Naruto's like, okay. And if you win, you do what you want. Jun then charges up at Naruto and they both clash kunais. Instantly, Jun kicks up Naruto's foot and slams Naruto onto the ground. He says, I win. Well, I guess you gotta go back to what you're doing. Naruto's like, damn. And I just thought I was gonna make a friend. Finally. Jun then thinks back to where Sakura had told him in class about how to stay away from Naruto. Then Jun thinks, damn it. I just have to be this kind guy. Wait, Naruto, you can stay. You can stay as long as you want, actually. It would be really cool having you around. I might not be talking much. I still am training. Naruto says, that's cool. Jun then thinks, he says, well, actually, I've only got about 30 more minutes left. Thinking, maybe he can spend some quality time with Naruto. Says, Naruto, you can go in there. I have some books in there. You might want to read. Naruto said, books? I'm not really a reading guy. Anything else? He says, well, you can throw kunai. I have that board over there. Naruto says, oh, fine, I'll do that. Naruto then throws some kunai at the board, not really hitting the marks like he should. Then looks up at Jun. Jun jumps up in the air, clashing kunai onto each other, hitting 4 separate marks right on the bullseye with only one throw. Naruto looks up, he says, wow, that's amazing, Jun. But Jun pays no attention to it. He has his Sharingan activated, and he's trying to stay and look away from Naruto. He's still trying to get as much training as possible out of that. He then continues, and he's kicking down trees, one kick each by punching through trees, punching holes in them. Naruto says, is that how you made this hut? Jun then stops. He says, well, deactivating his Sharingan. Well, actually, this hut took me a while to make, as before when I first made it, I wasn't as good as I was. But now, it's so easy to gather wood material. By how many trees I've chopped down, I can probably do so much. But usually I use it for firewood, safekeeping. Naruto says, well, it would be cool if we both can work together to build a giant hut together. And maybe we can stay here together a few times. You know, like best buds. Jun says, that's actually a pretty good idea. I have been looking for a bit more space. It is a little bit too crowded in here. Jun says, well, after training, we can get started. After a bit 25 minutes later, training ends for Jun, and he sits down. Naruto said, ready to start building? As Naruto brings over some, some wood. And they're actually big pieces of wood. Jun says, wow, you're a bit strong. Naruto says, yeah, I've been born with particular strength. I don't know why, but I am. I'm pretty strong. But I don't really know how to use it in battle much. And you guys made me think, wait, Naruto wasn't really super strength. I'm going to put that in as just a trait in the show. Just say Naruto has like supernatural strength. And no, it's not like crazy or nothing. It's just like he can lift. He's just strong. It's not like how Sakura punches with like chakra and balls. Nah, it's nothing like crazy like that. It's just a bit stronger than usual. So yeah, they get to building this hut, adding on to Jun's old one. It ends up being able to fit 2 beds. Jun says, wow, it's actually pretty cool. 2 beds? And then he says, dang, man, I wish I just could do much more with this, says Jun. Naruto says, hey, I have literally two cushions, bed cushions, so I can bring them here if you want. Jun says, okay, I'd help. He reads a sign and he body flickers to the middle of Konoha. Naruto says, wait up, as he screams. Jun says, oh, body flickers right back. Naruto says, what was that? Can you teach me? Jun says, I don't think so. I heard your chakras control is not the best. Besides, body flickering is a humongously hard jutsu. Keep in mind, Jun's still 6 years old. They make it to Naruto's apartment, and Jun sees how dirty the place is. Naruto says, yeah, I know what you're thinking. Dang, he's a slob, huh? Jun says, no. It's actually pretty cool having your own place, I guess. But it does get a bit lonely sometimes, huh? Naruto says, yeah. Jun says, I get what you're saying. Well, maybe we can stay together forever. I heard my parents aren't going to be back for a few years, says Jun, adding on to the lie that he told Naruto about his parents being still alive, Jun looks at Naruto and he says, hey, grab that microwave. I think I can get it working. Naruto says, what? How? You live in the middle. You live in the middle of the forest. He says, I can use electricity. It's chakra nature. Naruto says, what? How can you do so much and didn't tell me? That's bizarre. That's crazy. Says Naruto. Jun says, as he scratches the back of his head, I guess I'm just talented. They both laugh. Well, they bring back the cushions there, and they make these beds out of wood and put in the cushion. They lay down, and Jude says, "Oh, this is the comfiest I felt in what feels like years, but it's really only been months." Naruto says, "Well, you said your parents are going to be gone for a long time. Why don't I move here? Maybe we can be brothers," says Naruto. He smiles and he puts his fist out. June says, "So be it," and fist bumps Naruto. We fast forward another month, and Naruto and June live together as if they are brothers. They take care of each other, they hunt with each other. Mostly Naruto does a lot of hunting, and June stays back and trains. June also chops down a lot of trees just for some firewood, you know. So yeah, Naruto brings the ramen because, you know, he gets a little bit of pay from the third Hokage. You know. June then says to Naruto, he says, "Hey, Naruto, why do you like ramen so much?" Naruto's like, "What? What do you mean? Ramen's the best. What is there not to like?" June laughs. He says, "I knew I couldn't get a straightforward answer out of you." Naruto then thanks June. He says, "Thanks, June, actually. This past month's been the best month of best times of my entire life. It's as if I have family." June then asks, he says, "Hey, Naruto, what happened with your family?" Naruto said, "My entire life, I grew up without none. After all, everybody in the village hates me too, and I don't know why." June thinks to himself, knowing the reason why Naruto's hated. He was told by Shisui Uchiha, who's now dead. June says, "Hey, you got somebody that cares for you. I'm right here." Naruto says, "Thanks, bro." And he cooks him up some ramen. June then says to Naruto, "Hey, you know ramen's not very healthy. Later, I suggest you do some more hunting for some fish. Fish is a very healthy diet," says June. Naruto just waves his hand and thinks, whatever. We fast forward an entire year to when June was 7 years old. His Sharingan developed greatly and it's already at 2 Tomoe. Yes, 2 Tomoe Sharingan. He has 2 Tomoe Sharingan on both eyes. And Sasuke hasn't really grown curious about June, as he is pretty good at hiding. Every few weeks, June dyes his hair back to white because, you know, it's pretty noticeable. June then talks to Naruto. He says, "Hey, Naruto, aren't you excited to be a ninja?" Naruto says, "Hey, we're 8 years old. We have a pretty long way until then." June says, "Naruto, if you train with me, we can get early. We can become ninjas early, maybe even at 10 years old." Says June. When June's actually 7, but Naruto thinks he's 8 because, you know, he told everybody that he's 8 years old and yada yada. You know the deal. And yeah, June said, Naruto says, "That's a great idea. Besides, this past year living with you, man, I've gotten a lot stronger. I'm actually I'm in the top 5 students of the class. Top 3 at that. First is you, and then Sasuke, and then me." Naruto says, "Training with you actually made my life about better. Being with you, living with you, bro, made my life a lot better." June says, "Don't sweat it, bro. No matter. At the rate you're going," says June, "you'll be a ninja at 10 years old with ease." Naruto says, "What about Sasuke?" June says, "I don't think Sasuke I think Sasuke should take his full 4 years. I don't think he's ready. He may be stronger than you, but Naruto, you have potential." Sasuke was a natural born prodigy to some extent, but he needs more time, especially after that whole thing with his parents when you back. Naruto says, "Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It must be hard for him. I see him around the village a few times." June then thinks, should I tell Naruto about my secret? It's been a whole year after all. Nah, I think I'm ready. I don't think he's ready either. Naruto says, well, want to get to training? Yeah. And before we do so, I want to go over like Juntaro's fit. You know what I'm saying? Just like say what it is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Juntaro's fit. You could say he's not super tall, but he's taller than most of the kids in this class. Even though younger than everybody in this class. He's about, how can I say, probably not Neji's height, but probably something like Naruto's height as a genin in at 8 years old. So he's pretty cool. He's pretty tall. And Naruto's actually got better at chakra control. Like the whole putback isn't even really a putback anymore with the whole nine-tailed fox thing. It actually doesn't really affect him much at all anymore because of Juntaro's help. But yeah, let me get back to his fit. He wears basic Uchiha shorts to an extent, but they don't have any Uchiha writing. None of his suit has any Uchiha writing. He has shorts and it has on it. He's right-handed, so he has like the pocket for the kunai and stuff. And then he has a basic black shirt, and he wears what's it called? He wears a necklace. Well, not a chain, yes, a necklace, and it has a yin and yang on it. So yeah, he's pretty. He's not really drippy, and he wears the basic ninja ninja slides. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Now we fast forward to when Naruto and Juntaro are 10 years old, 2 years. Well, June's really 9, but they say he's 10. So, it's time for their graduation as they chose to do so early. Iruka looks at Naruto and June and says, wow, you guys have really gotten up there in the ranks. I'd say you, June and Naruto, you two, eligible for graduation. I'm proud of you guys. Just very proud. You guys are only 10 and you guys are doing this as if you guys are prodigies. Naruto smiles and he giggles. He says, thanks. As the rest of the kids in the class are actually surprised by the fact that both Juntaro and Naruto are both eligible to become ninjas. Genin at that. Fast forward a few days and it's time for graduation. And yes, June still trains every single day, night, and all. So does Naruto, because Naruto has picked up that work ethic as well. Naruto's actually number 2 in the class. He's actually gone above Sasuke. But now, let's continue. June then gets ready and walks up on stage, and grabs his what's called his ninja headband, which isn't blue. It's actually black because he put in a request for it to be black because he mostly wears black, of course. It's black, and then Naruto, same thing with his new ninja fit. Just the same. It's the same one as in Naruto Shonen Jump, OG Naruto fit. Just a bit smaller because he's smaller because he's only 10 years old. But yeah. June's actually 9, but he's taller than the average kid. Average, not 9-year-old, so yeah. He gets his headband and people in the crowd talk. Wow, ain't no way these kids are 10 years old. I've seen some of these kids fight and they are crazy beasts. Especially that one June over there, the white-haired kid. I've heard he can use all types of chakra natures. Fire, earth, wind, electricity, and water. He's a prodigy. And that kid Naruto over there, they murmur the 9-tailed Jinchuriki. And some of them every time I look at him I get the chills. But he is suited to be a Jinchuriki as he is very strong. He actually knows the wind. He knows how to use the wind style. Very impressively. Maybe even better than that white-haired kid June. Naruto and June walk off the stage with their new ninja, now known as ninja. They then go into a room full of these new ninjas that they don't even know, really. And yeah. What's it called? They're assigned their teachers, and turns out Naruto and Jun are actually on the same team. It was requested by Ibuku as they do work well, super well together. They're basically the perfect ninja team. And there's one kunoichi, and we're gonna say her name is let me think. Kudata. Kudata is her name. She's a kunoichi, a ninja, a woman ninja, and she knows how to use healing jutsu a little bit, and she has one chakra nature with this earth style. She's not too shabby herself. She is pretty strong, but she is older than both Naruto and Jun. Jun and Naruto stare at each other, and Naruto's like, and with his eyes glistening, he says, "We're finally ninja!" As he starts to cry and tear up. Jun says, "Hey, we have to wait. We still haven't been assigned our Genin teacher yet." And they wait all day long until a few hours later, everybody's got their teacher. Kakashi Hatake shows up. He said, "Hey kids, I'm Kakashi Hatake. You guys are the number one recruit for ninja." Jun stops him. He says, "You're late. He looks at the time. "You're 5 hours late," says Jun. Kakashi says, hey, I saw an old lady and there was a black cat in my path, so I had to take the long way." Naruto looks at Kakashi in his eyes, and Kakashi stares right at him and thinks, "This kid has potential. I can already tell." Jun says, "I don't want to hear no stupid excuses. I don't care if you're a new Genin teacher. That wait was so long." And Naruto's knocked out on the desk. He's knocked out, he's asleep. And then Jun smacks Naruto. He says, "Wake up. Our teacher's here. Our sensei." Naruto says, "What took you so long?" I'm energized. I've slept well," says Naruto. And the girl sits there. She says, "Yeah, you're late. You shouldn't have been that late." Kakashi says, "Let me finish, okay? Listen, kids. I already know you guys are well skilled. You guys are the top students of your class. And 2 of you guys are only 10 years old." Jun and Naruto smile. And the girl says, "Wait, you guys are 10? Naruto says, "Of course we are. We're the top ones in the class. We may even be stronger than you." The girl smacks Naruto in the back and says, "Whatever. I don't care about no 10 years old. Just don't hold me back." Kakashi says, "I said let me finish, kids." In like a kind of, loud voice. He says, "Well, I am your ninja. I am your sensei, Kakashi Hatake. I am probably the strongest jonin in this village, and not really experienced as a sensei. And no, they're not going to go through the whole Genin test because I'm not trying to do all that. Let you know that right now. So, yeah. We fast forward a few weeks, and they've done a bit of training, but not really important missions. Missions like catching a cat and so and so. They are summoned to the Hokage's office, and the third Hokage says, "You guys are giving a mission to catch this old lady's cat." Naruto says, "Again? This is like the 14th time. No, I will not accept this. I need a C-rank mission or higher." Jun looks at Naruto. He says, "Naruto, calm down. This is the Hokage you're talking to." Naruto says, "No, I may be 10 years old, but I trained my butt off to get here as a ninja. And I'm not a no cat sitter or a babysitter. I'm here to be a ninja and do ninja missions." Kakashi looks at Hokage and shrugs. He says, "Oh well, nothing I can do." Third Hokage sighs. He says, "Okay, Naruto. How about this? There's a C-rank mission that I would like to give you guys. You guys must escort this man and protect him and while he's building the bridge and take him all the way to the bridge from here." Naruto says, "Yes, a mission." Juntaro also says, yes, deep down. He says, "Damn, I was tired of that damn cat. I swear I would have killed it if we had to fight it again." He smiles and he looks at Naruto. He says, "Naruto, Don't do something stupid like that again. You need to understand that is the Hokage after all. Naruto looks at Jun and says, "Yeah, whatever." They then are assigned the mission to take the old man to what's called, to the bridge. On their way there, the old man says, "I don't know if I'm safe with you guys. Maybe I should go back to the third Hokage." Jun looks back and stares him in the eye. So does Naruto. Both their eyes staring at him. He then realizes that these kids are no joke. The girl then says, "Shut up, you old man. I'm sure you'll be protected within my grasp." Kakashi laughs at the girl. He says, Naruto and Jun have been the only one really completing their mission. I'd have to say they're better than you, says Kakashi. Jun said, "Ain't no way no 5-year-olds are better than me." "Get it right," says the girl. Itachi laughs. So, on their way there, Jun senses something. 2 ninjas and that tiny puddle of water there. Naruto stops everybody. He says, "I'm sensing someone. They're in that puddle right there. It's the middle of spring and it hasn't rained in weeks. Obviously, some mist assassin." The mist jump out. He says, "Where you find us, huh, kid?" Jun then says, "Naruto, you got this. I'll stay back." He then puts his hand in front of the girl, saying, "You should not butt in." Naruto jumps up in the air and not grabs him. He kicks them both to the side. They bounce back, and Naruto then palms both his hands with wind, putting it both in their face, blasting them even farther. He throws both kunais at dudes, tying them pretty much to a tree, as they are pretty much dealt with, and then goes up to him. Jun then walks up to one of the assassins and says, "Who sent you here, and what are you here for?" The man then, Kakashi interrupts and says, "They're assassin of the mist. There's no way that they would tell you what's going on. They'd rather die than do so." Jun says, "Fine then, you can die." Brings out his kunai and goes for a stab, but stops right before the neck of the man. Man's still not budging. Sasuke says, not Sasuke, Jun says, "I guess this guy is just not gonna budge," to Kakashi. They walk forward and before they go, Jun and Naruto knocks the both of them out, tying them both to a tree pretty tightly. Jun even used the earth style to, cover their feet with the ground. Naruto says, "I still don't get how you learn that jutsu." Kakashi then thinks, "Damn, these kids are good. And they're only 10? There's no way." They then continue on, but before really, getting too far, Kakashi asks the man, he says, "Hey, old man, what was that back there? You must know. Why would some assassin be trying to be targeting some old man who's just building a bridge?" Kakashi says, "This wasn't our mission at all. Our mission was to escort you there safely. There was no Mist Ninja involved. If so, this would be an A-rank mission," says Kakashi to the old man. Old man says, Okay. I admit. These guys are after me because they don't want me to build a bridge, as it is a way for them to get their money. They want money. Some dude named Hanzo. I think it was Hanzo, right? I'm just gonna say it was some dude named Bill. I forgot that dude's name. He's hiring these assassins to come and hunt me down and kill me so I can't build a bridge, says the old man. Kakashi says, he thinks. He says, "We'll continue the mission. But on one note, anything you know you must tell us now." The man says, "That's all I know, really. The only thing I know is that there is some leader named Bill who has this super strong swordsman on his hands. But I don't really know much about him. I don't even know the guy's name. I just know he's a killer, a murderer at that. And on that note, I'm going to end off the video because I already know this video is very long. So, thank you guys so much for the support. I'm finally back, and yeah. Peace out.